Good evening. Hello, and great to see you here today. Now, I had a little bit of trouble with my Wi-Fi, so hopefully there won't be any issues here tonight with us. So, good evening, and welcome to a continued week of amazing chats in the evening. Not just Monday, not just senior pet chat, but all week, and who knows, maybe more. As an entrepreneur, sometimes you got to take on certain challenges, and that's what I'm doing this week. A challenge to like go live every night, give, the pet people what they want and more. So here tonight. So welcome. Great to see you. Good evening, Mr. Jackson. Great to see you as well. You know how that is when you're like ready to press live, and then all of a sudden the Wi-Fi goes. And so I actually think I might be on my hotspot right now. So again, thank you for your patience tonight. So all week we've had great topics. We talked last night about vaccines, whether or not to vaccinate. We talked about kids and what age they should bring a pet into the house. When are they responsible enough for that? And then tonight, as we're winding down the week, I want to address a question that comes up sometimes, not necessarily specifically from my clients, because when they come to me, usually they already know that they want a holistic veterinarian. So they already have an idea of what it is that I offer and provide. But some people out there, we see this word over and over again, holistic. What does it even really mean? Obviously we think, okay, something healthy, something healthy, right? But it goes so much deeper than that. On the animal side and on the pet side, it's very, very similar, okay? So let's get started and talk about that. What exactly is holistic? So when we say holistic, we're talking about not only taking into account your pet's physical. Now, that's the part most people know about, right? It's the part we can see. Issues come up, we can see it. It's on their body. They're doing, their symptoms, all of that. But what about their emotional well-being? What about their mental stability? All the same as humans, they need to be addressed, okay? So holistic means taking a pet's physical, mental, and emotional well-being into the equation. So as a holistic vet, if we're getting on and say doing a virtual visit first so we can get to know each other and find out what's going on, trust and know I'm going to be looking around in the environment as well in your home. So that's something, people can get a little thrown off. Like we hear it all the time when we go to clients' homes. They're like, oh, just disregard all those dishes in the sink, or we're moving, like just don't look at that. All good, totally understandable. We all can be sensitive about our homes, but when it comes to your pet, we have to take all those things into account. There's some things that you might not even think about, as a human, even though we're trying to do the very best for our pet. I'll give you an example. Incense, air fresheners, plug-ins, that kind of stuff. You might think from way up here, okay, it's just a light scent. But down there on that floor, that pet is getting the brunt of all of that. And what if they're allergic to that? What if there's something in the environment is affecting them? So again, we've got to take into account their everything when we're talking about holistic: physical, mental, and emotional. So now when we talk about holistic, there's certain categories, things that we're going to just think of right off the top. So anyone who's watching with me right now, tell me, what is one really important aspect of holistic medicine? Whether we're talking about pets or humans, what is one really important aspect of holistic care that we've got to think about when we're saying, you know what, I want to start a holistic lifestyle for my pet? What's one thing that you're going to be trying to work on, change, adjust, improve? Let me see something in the chat. I see a few eyes out there. I'll give you a moment and wait to see if I see a comment pop up. Again, I love being in the holistic world because, again, in addition to, just physical, mental, and emotional well-being of your pets, we also allow your pet's body to heal itself. That sounds kind of crazy, doesn't it? Like, okay, if my pet's body can heal itself, what do I need a veterinarian for? Right? But in the holistic lifestyle, we know that the body, the cells, I mean, we have an amazing package here, don't we? And the animals do as well. Just amazing, what God has done, what, the man above, the woman above, nature, whatever you believe in. It is amazing what our bodies can do. They can heal. We can heal ourselves. Now, granted, we haven't been taught a lot of that. I know I wasn't taught that in school. Say, oh, okay, Ternera, this is what you need to do to live a long life. No, I had cheeseburgers, French fries, tasty things like that growing up. And that brings into, oh, I see a comment. Let me not say before I see what the comment is. Oh, boom. You hit the nail on the head. You already heard me, Mr. Jackson, talking about that, didn't you? I mean, I know you wrote it in before I started talking about it, but we are on the same page, Bobby J. That's right. Diet. Let me put you up on the screen, give you your props, Mr. Jackson. Okay, so diet is definitely a huge one. And, when we talk about holistic versus maybe traditional, right? Traditional veterinary medicine, we tend to think with, as far as diet, that traditional is going to be what? Kibble, right? Kibble, big old bag of kibble, dry, crunchy, kibble. And that's something that really, even growing up as a future vet, I never knew anything else about it other than kibble for a dog. I didn't know there was really anything else to it. So I'm so glad to be able to be here to educate you. And there's so much information out there now, too, that you can definitely go online and find some things. But hey, why not get it straight from Dr. Croom, Army Vet, your holistic veterinarian? So we think kibble on the traditional side. And so what are we thinking on the holistic side? What's the opposite of that? Who knows? If we're not feeding kibble, what are we probably giving our dogs, cats? All right, I'll give you the answer. The answer is raw feeding. So we've got, okay, real food. I like that, Mr. Jackson. Exactly. Now, when we say real food now, we don't necessarily mean, okay, table scraps, right? Because that's what a lot of pet owners do. And they'll tell me, right? I let them know it's a no judgment zone. We get on our virtual, when I come to your house, it's a no judgment zone. Tell me what it is. What are we really doing here? And real food, i.e., raw food or partially cooked food, but we want to give that dog or cat something similar to what they would have had in the wild. Now, can anybody show me a kibble tree? No? No kibble trees out there? Okay, so we know that kibble, I'm not here to beat up kibble. Go look at my kitchen, you'll see that there's some kibble, right? So it's not that. It's not beat up on kibble day. But let's be honest. Let's keep it real. We know that kibble has been dried high heat, and a lot of the nutrients have been taken out of it. And then in order to sit on the shelf, there's got to be some preservatives, right? So whatever that kibble started out as, whether it started out soft or whether there was a little bit of meat in it, we know that after all that high heat and the preservatives, that now it's something else. And I will say this, as far as kibble, a lot of times the meat that is in there is the extreme scraps. It's like the scraps you don't want, even definitely not for humans, but really you might not even want it to be for your pet if you saw, what I mean, just gristle and leftover stuff. Not understandable. A carnivore likes gristle and things like that that might turn a human's stomach, right? But there's also some other toxins involved that are put into the kibble that you want to be very, very careful of. But that's not to say that there aren't some brands of kibble that are good. There are. And you just need to look at those ingredients really, really well. On the other side of that is, again, real food or raw food. What I do is I do a combination of both for my dog. That's right. Some people say with a raw diet or real food, maybe not enough time, can't be in that kitchen all day cutting up vegetables and stuff like that. I don't even cut up vegetables for my own self and my own family, human family. So being in the kitchen cutting up, some people are just like, don't have time for that, not trying to do all that. And so kibble, right, before on your way out to work. But then maybe when you come in from work, what about maybe having that second meal be some real food? Okay. One thing we're going to note before we pass on from talking about diet is you want to make sure that you give kibble and real food or raw meat, stuff like that, at different times, because they do have different transit times in the gut. So be very careful there. Okay. Next, holistic. Again, what is it? What are we thinking about? We said diet. The next thing, disease prevention. And again, just last night we talked about to vaccinate or to not vaccinate, right? We're talking about disease prevention here. So again, on the traditional side, we've got vaccinations. We've got flea and tick medications, heartworm medications, right? And then on the holistic side, we've got maybe less vaccinations, right? Fewer vaccines, some natural remedies. There are definitely some ingredients out there that can potentially replace things like heartworm prevention and flea and tick for sure. I mean, I definitely use diatomaceous earth a lot. Granted, it doesn't have the strength of a flea and tick, which does have some toxins inside. But it's all natural, it's holistic. It's like a powder that you can dust on your pet, put it all around the neck in the areas where the fleas like to congregate. And that is a holistic way. Okay, so it's just something that you could talk about with your holistic veterinarian to see what is best for your pet. Now, if you're going out into the deep woods, where the ticks and the fleas, we're not going to do diatomaceous earth. That's not going to be strong enough. So that's why you want to get that consultation from your holistic vet and see what's best for your family. Okay. So again, disease prevention, we've got traditional and we've got holistic. And again, I wind up right in the middle, just like with the diet for my dog. Okay. So yes, I do vaccinate her, but I also like to do like some of the 3-year vaccinations. So I don't have to vaccinate her every single year. Okay. And I do use diatomaceous earth sometimes too on my dog because she's not out in the deep woods like that. And so the times that I want to avoid flea and tick medication, I will put the DE on her. Again, the diatomaceous earth should be food grade. You can find that right on my website at drcroom.com. Next category, injuries. On the traditional side, if your pet is injured, obviously, what can we do? Surgery, right? Or if there's some type of cancer, right? That could go also with disease prevention. We've got chemotherapy, radiation, all of these things, similar to the human side, right? On the holistic side, as far as injuries, we could do electromagnetic therapy. We could do chiropractic work. Just had a chiropractic visit today. Little Romeo, little Pomeranian, so cute. And I was there just making sure that he was well adjusted, because we know that with chiropractic care, it's not just the backbone, right? It's the nerves, it's the blood vessels that flow in between those vertebrae that can be pinched, that can be impinged, blood flow stopped. So chiropractic is so much more than just cracking a back. Okay. I kind of joke sometimes like, yeah, I'm certified now, I'm cracking doggy backs, but it is so much more than that. It can be so beneficial for injuries. Also, we've got acupuncture. That's not a service that I provide, but I do have colleagues that provide that. And then we've got like herbal salves, that kind of thing, things you can put right on the body that are going to be absorbed right in there. Okay. So far we've talked about, like, when we're saying what is holistic pet care, what we're doing is comparing traditional to holistic. We talked about the diet, right? Kibble versus raw. We're meeting in the middle there. Disease prevention and injuries. We're talking about vaccines, flea and tick prevention on the traditional side, surgery, chemo. And then on the holistic side, we're talking about reducing the amount of vaccines in your pet's body, taking it out every 3 years if we can, as well as other things like chiropractic, acupuncture, and electromagnetic therapy. I love holistic medicine, let me tell you. Okay, so then lastly, what we want to talk about is this more of the spiritual side, right? The spiritual and the mental sides. So yes, I do believe your pet has a spirit. Yes, I do believe that energy is exchanged. And for those of you who did not know, we've got a new service coming up soon. And if you want more information about this, here's what I want you to put in the chat. Even if you're watching this on the hashtag replay, put this in the chat if you are interested in this service, and I will reach out to you and let you know more about it. It's called Healing Touch. Healing Touch for Animals. It's a certification that I've received recently. Very excited about this to add right on to the chiropractic. It is energy work. It's an exchange of energy. It's grounding. It's an exchange. And I love being able to offer that. So if you are interested in Healing Touch, learning more about it, and possibly having access to me coming out and doing Healing Touch on your dog, cat, horse, chicken, rabbit, any animal. And we've talked before about the energy field of animals. Energy field of animals is so much more wide and vast than us humans. They feel, they can sense all of that. And so I would love to get in touch with you and let you know about when those services are becoming active. So Healing Touch for Animals. Okay, so I'm at my time now, and I just want to thank you all for coming out. Hello there, Kelly. She wrote in the chat, Healing Touch. All right, look at her following instructions. Thank you for being here tonight, Kelly. Thank you also, Bobby Jackson, for coming in. Put it in the chat. I want to know what holistic medicine means to you. And if you want to know more, you know what? You can always find me at Dr. Croom Army Vet on Facebook, Dr. Croom Army Vet, pretty much across all platforms. And I love to be here to serve you. I served in the Army Veterinary Corps. I'm a veteran, and I served that way. And now coming back and being a civilian again, I get to continue to serve. What is better than that? Absolutely nothing. So we'll see you again tomorrow night at 7:30. Don't want to miss.